Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today guys, I'll be sharing a secret family recipe with you guys. This is going to be our traditional fish broth. So with that being said, let's get right into it here. So I've already seasoned and washed my fish. I use this seasoning here called a Goya Adobe all-purpose seasoning. It has a lot of salt in it, so you necessarily don't have to use salt in your fish if you're using the seasoning. You can find it in your local supermarket. I also use parsley flakes, any brand, doesn't matter what brand. Or you could use a fresh parsley. Parsley is up to you. I also use some lime juice. Some lime juice in a bottle. You could use the fresh limes, or you could use some lemon. I also use some granulated powder. It's optional. You could use some raw garlic, the raw one from the cloves. And then I use some black pepper. I use a tablespoon of each. Depending on the amount of fish you have, you could increase it depending on your preference. But I use a tablespoon for each. I also added some pre-blended culantro, also known as shadow benny or badania. This is a homemade seasoning that I made. So let's give this a good mix. The next step is we're gonna cover our fish with a plastic wrapper and leave it in the fridge for maybe about 3 hours, or you can leave it overnight if you want. If you leave it overnight, you could put this in a Ziploc bag. But I'm gonna just leave it for 3 hours and continue on with my process of making this fish broth. The next step, we are going to prepare our ground provisions. I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eddos, 1 yuca, 1, 2, 3 potatoes. So I'm gonna peel these ground provisions and cut them into slices. So these are the slices. I cut them here. Don't cut them too small, because if they're too small, they're gonna mash up in your pot, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna wash everything here. Make sure you wash it thoroughly. Make sure there's no dirt or anything stick up on those ground provisions, because you know they are from the ground, on the ground. So we have washed all our ground provisions. Look at the size I cut it at, guys. Take a quick look here. That's the size you want to cut it. Not too small, as I said before. Next, we're gonna add 3/4 of water in a pot. Put the fire at the highest temperature as possible so it can start boiling. The water necessarily don't have to be boiling. You can start adding your corn provisions immediately. So let's do that here real quick. Next, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of salt. So after adding 2 tablespoons of salt, we're gonna let this boil for 40 to 50 minutes. So while the ground provisions are boiling, we're gonna prep our cabbage. So wash like 2 leaves of cabbage, or 3 leaves, depending on your preference, and start cutting your cabbage so we could put this in the pot. Alright, so that's the cabbage I cut there, nice. Let's add some carrots. Peel the carrots, wash them, and you can use 2 carrots or 1 carrot, is up to you. I'm just gonna use 1. Some people like more carrots, but depending on your preference. I'm just gonna use 1 carrot here. So cut them in circles like how I'm doing it here. So about five to 6 minutes in, now we're gonna add our cabbage and carrots and let this boil. As I said before, 40 to 50 minutes, let it boil. A nice mix up there. Alright, we're gonna cover this and let it continue to boil. While our ground provisions are boiling, we're gonna move on to the next step here. We're gonna prep our dumplings. So we're gonna add 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of salt, give it a little mix. We're gonna add our water. Give it a little mix too. So watch very carefully how I do this in case you don't know how to make dumplings. You're gonna add a little bit of water every time and mix everything. Not too much, you know. You want to know, don't over add too much of water. So you're gonna add a little bit and mix, a little bit and mix. You know, fold it just how I'm doing there. Let me add a little more water here, it's a little dry. If it's a little too sticky, you could add some more flour. But I have enough flour here, dry flour, so it should be good. So I'm just gonna fold that here, constantly fold it. And then when you finish, you're gonna roll it here like this here. Add some more dry flour so it don't stick to your hands. And that's the finished product here. So we have rolled our dough to make our dumplings. So we're gonna leave this here. We're gonna let this to rest a little bit. So we're gonna cover it with some plastic wrap and leave it to rest for about 10 minutes. And then I'll get back to you guys when I'm ready to make these dumplings. So after 10 minutes, letting the dough rest, I'm ready to show you guys how to make these dumplings. You could cut the flour and make the dumplings if you want, but this is how I make my dumplings. So we're gonna add some dry flour on our hands so the dough don't stick. So I'm gonna pinch, tear, and roll just like that there. I like my long dumplings. If you want, you could roll out the dumplings and cut them in circles. You could even use a cup. I could roll the dumplings and use a cup and cut it into circles, but this is how I like my dumplings. You know, I like them long like this here. Like finger dumplings. They call them finger dumplings. So that's one here. Next one here. So you guys get the idea how to make it. So I'll do these and get back to you guys and show you guys the end product. Alright guys, so that's the end result here. That's my finger dumplings. You guys check it out there. Looking good, looking good. So we'll be adding these dumplings after 40 to 50 minutes have passed. So I'll show you guys how we do this. So yeah guys, 40 minutes have passed. And I'm now going to check the consistency to see how my provisions have been cooked so far. So let's see if it's still soft or it's too hard, or if it's too soft, you know. We don't want to get too soft. So this consistency is very good right now with that there. It's not too soft and it's not too hard. So it's just good. It's a good time to add in those dumplings, guys. You don't want the provisions to get too soft, as I said before, because it's gonna mash up in the pot and it's gonna have a thick, very thick gravy. So we want it to be just like this here. This is the best consistency. So let's go ahead and add these dumplings. It's finger dumpling time, guys. So let's add these dumplings here real quick here. Make sure they immerse in the water. So we're gonna add all these dumplings. I'll let them cook for around 10 to 15 minutes. And after it's cooked, I'll get back to you guys and show you guys. We gotta add the secret ingredients. Alright guys, so while our dumplings are boiling, we're gonna prep our onions. We're gonna be using 1 whole onion for this. So we're gonna chop the onion just like this here. Thin slices like this. After chopping the onions, I'm gonna crush these garlics. I'm gonna be using 5 grain of garlics for this. You could crush your garlic or you could cut it up if you don't have a crusher. So I'm just gonna crush this here. So it has been about 5 minutes since our dumplings been boiling. We're gonna add our crushed garlic into the mix here. This is one of the secret ingredients. Crushed garlic is gonna give it a nice flavor. And also we're gonna add these onions here, 1 whole onions chopped. This is also gonna bring out the flavor of the fish broth. I give this a little mix here. We're gonna add some more water since we don't have a lot of water here. Add hot water, hot some water in a kettle or hot it in a pot and add it. It's best to add hot water. Hot water is preferable. Alright, something to note when you mix in, take your time and mix. You don't want to squash your ground provision, so take your time and mix the onions and the garlic. Mix it well. Take your time, you don't want to rush and destroy everything. So after mixing this, we're going to be adding my third secret ingredient. Next, I'll be adding my third secret ingredient, Maggi cube. This can be found in your local supermarket. So let me add this here real quick. For our fourth secret ingredient, we're going to be adding Sazan Goya. This is a unique seasoning, also found in our local supermarket. This is how it looks here. It's in the small little packets. You're going to use 1 packet for my pot here. We're using 1 packet. So let me just put this in here. This seasoning is going to give the fish broth a nice, rich, yellowish color. And it's also give it a nice flavor. After this is done, we're going to add some black pepper. Let's give this a good mix again. Try not to stir too much because we don't want to destroy our corn provisions. You don't want to crush them. Next, we're going to add some Chinese vetsin. This can be found in your local supermarket. They got some Chinese writing on it here, guys. It has a lot of salt in it, so we're going to just add like 1 tablespoon here. Because we don't want to make the fish broth too salty. Alright, we're going to cover that and let it sit there for at least 5 minutes. At this time, we'll take our time now and we'll be prepping our seasoning. This is going to be culantro. So I'm going to be using about 3 to 4 leaves of culantro. So we're going to wash our culantro, add some water in here. About so much here, about 1/4. Then we're going to blend this culantro here. So we're going to add our fish after we blend our culantro. We're going to add our fish at the moment. This is coming to the end of the fish broth, so we're going to add our fish. Our seasoned fish that's been marinating in the refrigerator. We're going to be adding this now. Kind of submerge the fish a little on the water so it'll cook. And we're going to let that cook for at least 7 to 10 minutes. Alright guys, so we have reached the end of the fish broth here. There's 2 more ingredients we gotta add in, 2 more secret ingredients. Golden Ray butter, this one can be found at your local supermarket. This is gonna give the fish broth a really nice flavor. So I'm gonna be using half of this. Cut it into some slices there. me spread this butter here real quick here. So it'll be spread all evenly right through the whole fish broth. Alright, so the fish broth is looking really good now. Now we're going to be adding some hot pepper. You could add pimento pepper, jalapeno pepper, scotch bonnet, cherry pepper, any kind of pepper that you like, you know, your flavor pepper, whatever flavor you prefer, you can add it. I'm just slicing this pepper here. If you do not like pepper, you don't have to add pepper, but I like this spicy, you know, it's really good. I like very, very spicy. Also, if you don't want it to be too spicy, you could just add the pepper whole and let it boil inside. That way it gives the fish broth a nice flavor. Last but not least, we are gonna add our blended cilantro. You can add this after everything is cooked. We have turned off the fire there. The fire is not on at the moment. Everything is nice and hot, nice and yellow, nice and spicy. So we add that cilantro there. That's gonna give it a nice flavor, very, very tasty flavor, guys. So I'm gonna give this a good mix. Nice mix. You can see the color changing a little bit there. A nice greenish, yellowish color. It's looking so tasty right now. I really want to dive in this. Alright guys, our fish broth is finally finished. It's time to eat. So let me get some here. Nice consistency, guys, here. Let's see there. So get some carrots here. Give this recipe a try. Be the judge for yourself. And let me know what you think in the comment section. I will really appreciate that. So come back to this video and let me know if you ever tried this recipe. So yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.